I was teasing Kim that we are both radicals. This is Radical Focus. This is the book I just released. It is a Patrick Lencioni-style book, which means it has a fictional case study. I am a passionate storyteller, actually, much like Kim. I love stories. When I was a little girl, it's so funny, my daughter's 10 years old and she's doing the same thing. She's going crazy for Greek myths, and I loved Greek myths when I was a kid too. One of my favorite Greek myths is the story of Atalanta, which may not be one that everybody here knows. But that was the story of a young woman who did not wish to get married, and her king father was like, no, that's what you do for a living, you get married. And so she said, any man who can beat me in a foot race can marry me. And she was the fastest runner. And so she knew nobody could beat her, but there was a young man who was very, very in love with her. And he prayed to Aphrodite, and she gave him 3 golden apples. And as they ran the foot race, unfortunately, Atalanta had the classic Greek problem of hubris. And he would throw the apple out, and she'd be like, well, I'm such a badass, I can get that apple. And then he would pull ahead, but then she would run really fast, and she'd beat him, and then he would throw the next apple, and it would go into a bush, and she's like, yeah, I can totally get that apple and win this race, go after it. And then he would pull slightly ahead, and just as they were getting to the finish line, he took out that last one. She couldn't resist it. He beat it, and now she's married. So, other than the unfortunate political connotations of that, I think that in my work with a lot of startups, I see the same thing happen over and over again, that people think that they are so amazing, so fast, and so capable that they can get all the shiny objects that roll in their direction. And unfortunately, this rarely turns out to be true. So I'm going to tell you another story. This story is the story of 3 startups rolled into one, lightly fictionalized to protect the guilty, as they say. But I'm going to tell you the story of a little startup. And this little startup really wanted to bring tea to the masses. You know, you go to a restaurant and they have like all this beautiful coffee, and they make espresso and latte and flat whites and all this crazy stuff. And then you get tea and it's like in a little packet. Like, what's that all about? So they wanted to bring beautiful, single origin tea to people. And they met at Stanford, and Hannah was first generation Chinese American. She was studying her MBA. Jack was studying design. He was a British fellow. Both of them had tea as part of their cultures, and both of them were very excited about tea. And because they went to Stanford, they managed to talk some people into giving them a bucket of money, because these things will happen. And they immediately went out and rented an office and hired a ton of people. And they're building a website, they're building a back end, they're getting their database up, they're going crazy, designing stuff. But there's a problem.